Cops of Reddit. What's the creepiest thing you've found during a house search? My very first dead guy had been in his house for almost a week during a very hot July with no A/C. Did you know that your skin will become clear and you can see everything? He popped when the funeral home came to get him. Yes, popped. Some people, they're not bothered by this. Me? No. I don't have the stomach. This is the only part of the job that bothers me. Not a cop but a fire investigator. We were working a scene where two kids had died after a space heater caught on fire and the dad was playing poker down the street and the mom was with some other man down the street. The fire department came in and cleaned out the scene and we came in after. As we were sifting through the ashes to find components to the space heater, we found the 2-year-old's foot. Mind you, this was after dark so we could barely see and were using flashlights. It was a bit creepy. I'm not a cop but a paramedic. Went into a lady's house one time, can't remember what the call was for, that had sheets of paper taped all over the walls. They all said something along the lines of "remember the voices aren't real." Gave me a warm, safe feeling. My dad answered a domestic call at an apartment on the 23rd floor. As soon as he walked in he saw blood everywhere. In pools on the floor, spatter on the walls and ceiling, smeared all over everything. He walked further in to find a woman crumpled on the floor, battered beyond recognition, and the partner is standing in front of an open window. My dad started to talk to the man, to coax him into coming with, and the man immediately turned around and stepped out the window, falling 70 meters to his death. Edit, yes, she survived. My brother is a cop. He told me about this time when they responded to a workplace accident where a railyard worker had been crushed between two rail cars. The guy had been crushed/pressed into the ladder of one of the cars. They kept hearing voices coming from the body. Muffled voices but definitely coming from the body. It took them a while to figure out the worker had been carrying a radio. Needless to say they were a bit disturbed until they reached the conclusion. I know I'm late to the show, but during a search of sex offender's house, I found a room that looked like a little girl's room. In the closet I found a 4-foot doll in a pink dress. He had no kids and was in his late 50s. A coat rack with a hat on. Clearing a dark house and seeing what could easily be a person standing motionless in the corner is not fun. Tiny, quiet, southern town. Whole family that had been dead for a week. Their teenage daughter's boyfriend who she met online was visiting from across the country. Stepdad, mother, daffer and her friend all murdered and hacked up by an axe. The mom was a professor at my university a block away and when she didn't show up to work for a few days cops went to house and talked to murder who gave them some plausible excuse so they left. He stayed in the house for a full week before leaving. The cops went back when neighbors reported the smell. They caught the guy at Ray Airport about to fly home. Brother-in-law is a cop. He told me about a time he and his partner were called to do a wellness check on someone with a terminal illness. Family didn't know where he was. So they get to the house, knock, and get no response. They entered the house to see if he had passed away due to his illness. They did not find him there, but what they did find was a stairway leading down to a basement. In that basement was a vast number of sex toys, ropes, harnesses, etc. There was also a stage with a bed on it, and a video camera on a tripod focused on it. He had stumbled upon this guy's sex dungeon. The guy ended up being alive, but was visiting someone out of town and didn't notify any of his family. My aunt is a police dispatcher. Normally she takes calls from the public and has an officer nearby respond. But one day she was asked to work the station's radio because the normal guy was sick. That meant she was acting as the central hub of the police radio network, taking calls from officers in the field and issuing backup to them, that kind of thing. She wound up having to listen to 4 cops talking back and forth in a panic as 2 squad cars arrived to check on a reported murder. The person who called was certain that there were multiple killers present. The victim's meat had been cut into 1-inch cubes, as if their killer was going to fry them up, or make kebabs. The whole crops had been disassembled like that. Bones cut into neat-inch segments, organs removed, separated, organized. She remembers one of the officers panicked and screamed something along the lines of "This is OCD movie monster crap." I can't remember the exact quote sadly, and I doubt my aunt remembers it herself. She thought they were playing a joke on her until they called for a hazmat crew to get the body. Not a cop but a former corrections officer. Doing a cell search one time and stumbled across a 500 milliliters coffee mate container almost full of accumulated semen. I was later told it took 7 months to save it up. I've seen and dealt with a lot of crap but for some reason that one ranks up there. I was an MP and not involved in this particular case, but child pornography on a guy's computer. The guy was known to leave his room unlocked so people could use his computer. He ended up getting booted from the military and serving time in a military jail while swearing it wasn't him. My mother used to work for a police department, and I'd hang out there when I'd be homesick from school. This old man used to walk to the gas station on the corner to get a pack of smokes and coffee every day. The gas station attendant called for a wellness check when she realized she hadn't seen him for a couple weeks in the dead of summer. Cops went, knocked, smelled something, opened the door, walked in, instantly came back out vomiting from the smell. They had to come back later with respirators, trash bags, and snow shovels to clean up the sludge that used to be the old man. Another officer almost quit his first night on the job. Really bad accident, guy shows up, the one car has no one in it at all. He's looking around, guy isn't on the ground anywhere. He tried to figure out if maybe the guy walked away, so goes to look inside for some identification. Finds the guy. He hit so hard that he slammed up under and into the dashboard, and was just a broken sack of bones stuffed in around the steering column and other parts. I used to volunteer with my local PD. Nothing will beat the old lady who passed away in her house and her little dog ate her face. Literally just the skin from the jaw line to the hairline and from ear to ear. It left the eyeballs in the sockets. Just a skeleton in a lady suit, doing the 1,000-yard stare.